She asked me to protect her from you. Did you hurt her?
You know I wouldn't. She is unwell. It seems I am the target of her psychotic state. That is all I know. I certainly don't know that I've mind raped her and uh, taken the ethereal mental state away from her to feed me to live for another 100 years with my other mouth.
Hi guys, Mom is and Catherine are repulsed by everyone.
Hey, I would just like to take this moment to announce that I'm going to start doing an ADMR of the succubus voice.
Oh, that's very calming, I'm sure, and it will bring back
Yeah.
wonderful memories of whatever the hell that was.
Yes, it will be the same voice, but I'm just going to like um read well, actually no, it'd be kind of the same if I read Byron because it's still kind of creepy uh, toxic masculinity rapiness.
Oh dear.
So, um
You're
I
gonna
don't
be.
know, I'll read Emily Dickinson in that voice.
I was just gonna say, like, you're probably gonna be sick for like the next 3 weeks as far as the viewers know.
That's true. Okay. So you're picking she's probably repulsed by you.
Yes.
What did you expect after what you diddled to her? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. You little lesbian monster. Of course she will avoid you like the plague. No matter. She's never going to love you like Mother does. I kind of hope
Um.
so.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean,
Where is this going? Are you jelly, Mom? Like, no one diddles my daughter.
oh no, let's not go there.
This motherfucker. Sorry. I'll stop. I'll stop. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
She's never gonna love you like Mother does.
Mother
Like
knows
all of the
best.
others, she's going to leave you in the end, and then you're all alone. Only Mother will stay with you forever
See,
and
now
love
you've
you.
got it in my head because I read that as only Mother will sate you forever.
Mom, are there no dudes in the afterlife, or like even other women, like whatever it is that you're into, Mother? Like,
Now I'm just stuck hovering over you forever.
so be a good child and listen to what I tell you.
Rosa bit her lower lip. This was her fault, wasn't it? She needed to make it right. If Rosa talked to her properly, she was sure they would come to an understanding. She
This may
had.
accidentally go correctly because, like, they still
They.
need to talk to each other,
Yeah.
you know. So,
She had to explain to her. What exactly? They had both been drunk and the kisses didn't mean anything? Her stomach churned at this thought. In the end, it didn't matter what Rosa wanted. Catherine obviously regretted what had happened. She didn't want to lose her friend because of too much wine. Rosa gently knocked on Catherine's door. Catherine? May I come in? Please, Catherine. I'm sorry for this mess, but can we talk? Rosa waited for an answer. None came. Rosa turned the handle slowly and entered. Oh. Usually Catherine's room was brightly lit. The windows let in a fresh breeze, often carrying the sweet smell of flowers in spring. Right now, however, the curtains were drawn and closed. The few candles burning on a desk weren't enough to banish the darkness completely. Oh, jeez. That was an unpleasant noise.
Yeah.
The air hung heavy in the room. Catherine didn't turn around when the door opened. She stood there, unmoving, in front of a wall. The sounds of something scratching along a rough surface filled the air. Rosa felt a shiver run down her spine at the sound, and her muscles tensed instinctively. She approached Catherine slowly and apprehensively. When she came closer, she could hear that Catherine was whispering the same few words over and over again.
He loves me. He loves me not.
Catherine giggled.
He loves me. He loves me not.
Catherine, are you all right? Rosa stepped next to Catherine and peered at her outstretched hand. In the dim light, it took a moment for her to make sense of what she saw. Ugh. Catherine was scratching at the wall. The damage she had done to the wall was nothing compared to what she had done to her fingers. They were dripping with blood from where her skin was cracked and peeled back. Cath! Oh my god! Catherine, stop! Rosa's guts twisted horribly. She grabbed Catherine's shoulder to turn her away from the wall. She blinked a couple of times before finally reacting to Rosa's presence. Tears welled up in Catherine's bloodshot eyes at the sight of her friend, spilling over her pale cheeks and chapped lips. She held on tightly to Rosa and sobbed uncontrollably. Cath, what's going on? Why are you hurting yourself? Catherine tried to pull herself together as best as she could, wiping her nose on the sleeve of her bloody dress. It was heart-wrenching to look at the mess that her friend had become.
Oh, Rosa. You need to help me. You need to protect me from him. Don't let him touch me.
Who? Let him what? Why do you need me to protect you? Suddenly, Catherine shushed her, a finger to her lips and with a scared expression on her face. She leaned an ear towards the door and listened intensely for a moment.
Oh, he's here?
The scared expression turned into manic and frightening glee.
I think he's coming. You hear me, honey? You hear me? I love you.
After yelling the last words, Catherine started sobbing again, with more tears streaming down her face. Before Rosa could try to console her, however, her sobs faded into hysterical laughter. It barely left time for her to gasp for breath.
Oh, Guilleme, I love the way you pull me close to hug me. And how kind you are to everyone you meet. And your eyes. Your eyes. What's going on here?
Guilleme stood in the door, frowning. His eyes wandered across the room and caught sight of Catherine. His face froze in shock. Catherine stared wide-eyed for a second, then snarled at him like a ferocious animal.
You bastard! Get out of my room! Get lost!
She stormed over to the desk and grabbed a letter opener from the table. With this weapon in a firm grip and malice in her eyes, she rushed to Guilleme.
Don't you dare show your face to me!
Catherine, no! The knife plunged into Guilleme's arm. Blood quickly stained his sleeve red. But Catherine only recoiled to strike back with no hint of stopping. Oh my God!
Catherine!
They wrestled for a moment until Guilleme was able to grab Catherine's hand. She dropped the letter opener and slumped to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Rosa quickly picked up the blade and stepped out of reach. When she turned around again, Guilleme had already pulled Catherine into a tight embrace. Between her sobs and hiccups, Rosa could hear her apologizing.
Oh, so sorry, Guillermo. What? Sorry, do you love me? Please, Guillermo, do you love me?
She repeated the question over and over again, no matter how many times Guilleme reassured her. It was probably a good idea to find something to calm her down. Rosa didn't feel completely at ease doing so, but she left her friend alone with the Marquise for a few minutes. Later, she returned with a glass of water laced with valerian root. Guilleme had already coaxed Catherine to lie down on her bed, while Rosa helped her drink the nightcap. They watched her in silence as she drifted into fitful sleep. Guilleme and Rosa left the room. They didn't speak for a while, both still dazed and shocked by the turn of events. How is your arm? Guilleme hid the injured arm away from view.
Fine. Just a flesh wound.
The bleeding hadn't stopped yet. Rosa could tell the cut was deeper than Guilleme let on. What is happening? What has gotten into Catherine? Guilleme just shrugged with a cold expression of worry on his face.
I wish I knew, Rosa. The state she is in scares me, to be honest. Might be an onset of an episode waiting to happen. Like her sister before.
Rosa's mouth tightened. How dare you say that? She's not crazy. Rosa searched his face for traces of a lie, but it was like a mask contorted by worry. She couldn't tell whether he was lying or telling the truth. She asked me to protect her from you. Did you hurt her?
You know I wouldn't. She is unwell. It seems I am the target of her psychotic state. That is all I know. I certainly don't know that I've mind raped her and taken the ethereal mental state away from her to feed me to live for another 100 years.
But why?
With my other mouth.
But why?
Stop. Stop it, Rosa. It hurts me too, seeing her like this. Please stop questioning me further. I'm going to call for a physician. Please stay with her in the meantime. See that she doesn't harm herself again.
For a moment, he met her eye. Before she could say more, however, he turned and left.
See if his pants have caught fire yet.
There was nothing she could do about him for now. Rosa left to get a bowl of fresh water and a towel to tend to Catherine's fingers. Catherine had an uneasy sleep while Rosa cleaned her wounds as best as she could. She muttered, squealed, and whimpered like a child. It seemed like she was having a nightmare, but Rosa didn't dare wake her before the physician arrived. Instead, she stroked her hair, told her that everything would be all right. She tried to appease the growing confusion of voices in her head. What had happened between Catherine and Guilleme? Their relationship was often erratic, but Rosa dismissed the possibility that this was one of their usual fights. Rosa remembered Catherine's face, filled with utter spite at the man. She had never seen that much hatred in Catherine. After a few minutes, Catherine's eyelids fluttered open. She looked around with some confusion, then her gaze settled on Rosa. Tears welled up in her eyes.
Alright. Rosa?
Rosa held out her outstretched hand. Her heart broke when she saw Catherine wince.
Oh. Rosa, I'm so scared. Everything's such a mess.
It's going to be alright, Cath. Don't worry now. Just try to sleep some more.
No, you don't understand.
Catherine tried to sit up, but Rosa pushed her down gently. Incubi invade dreams. You need to rest, Cath.
I hate him. This is all his fault.
She sniffed, but settled down on her pillow once more. When she spoke again, it was a whisper.
Rosa,
She chewed on her dry, chapped lips for a moment, as if she couldn't get the words out.
I don't think I love him anymore.
What? A dry sob escaped her, followed by tears rolling down her cheeks. Had Catherine really just said that?
I don't understand this. When I think of him,
Her voice cracked. She shuddered under the blanket like an ill breeze had just sprung up in the room.
It's like bugs are crawling under my skin. I can't bear to look at him anymore. I just can't. I can't even say his name.
Why? Do you remember when exactly you started feeling this way?
That night.
Rosa winced. Catherine covered her face with her hands.
It was a horrible night.
Rosa's chest hurt. Was this her fault? She didn't know what she had done, but didn't she do something to her? I'm sorry. Catherine went on like she hadn't heard her.
I went to his room. We spent the night together.
Rosa waited for Catherine to continue, but the girl stared blankly. She just stopped speaking, as if forgetting she ever spoke at all. Cath, did he hurt you that night?
No. Maybe?
Catherine shook her head.
I don't know.
She grabbed her head and sobbed. The grip on Rosa's heart tightened.
How can this be?
Her eyes drowned in tears.
I love him, Rosa. Don't I? I remember everything. I love him. I know I do. I'm sure I do. But I hate him too. Just the very core. I want to hurt him and punish him. He's a bad boy. For something. I want to snuff out the breath in his throat. Sometimes
Catherine's eyes went blank.
I just don't care for him at all. sometimes I feel nothing. Nothing at all. And that scares me more.
She laid on the bed, quiet now, letting the tears flow out of her eyes without wiping them.
I'm going mad, Rosa.
Catherine.
I am, aren't I? Like my sister? Like my mother? It runs in our blood. They said I am a child of a mad woman. They said I'm going to turn out exactly like her.
Rosa stroked her hair and tried her best to soothe her, saying that everything would be alright. They were empty words, but she didn't know what else to say. She wanted them to be true so badly, for her friend's sake as well as her own. Was Guilleme really the cause of Catherine's confusion and pain? Pangs of guilt pricked her like tiny needles. Or was this her fault?
Rubbish! You fool! Fly, you fools. This is all his fault. I can feel it. He got his farmer's pie. Now he's done with her. You must get to the bottom of this.
Yes, Mother. Rosa looked down on her best friend and nodded slightly to herself. Everything will be all right, Catherine. I promise. She would make it all right somehow. She had to. The physician arrived shortly, but he did little to help Catherine. Catherine never regained her personality. She remained moody and irritable, breaking out into fits of hysterical laughter or heartbreaking sobs at seemingly random intervals. Guilleme and Rosa would take turns to tend her. Her moods fluctuated, her temper uncontrollable. There were times she begged for attention from Guilleme, almost clinging to him in despair, never letting him out of her sight. Other times she couldn't stand his very presence. Soon neither Guilleme nor Rosa could console her anymore. She withdrew entirely from the household. She starved herself, stopped coming to the meals, stopped caring for herself. Her manic episodes degraded to long stretches of blank silence. Emptiness ruled her life. Looking at her eyes in those last days, it was like a fire had been snuffed out behind them. Like the star that had been shining through them had imploded. Chapter 5. I think that's a good spot to end this episode.
Yeah, interesting. Clearly,
That was rough.
yeah. From a psychological point of view, it sounds like what she's dealing with is it's a form of schizophrenia that is probably a more intense or mixed with bipolar, and having the manic episodes and the depressive episodes and these intensities of so I can certainly feel her there as a person who is bipolar myself, although that's more intense. Like at the worst of I've ever had would not really compare to that, though. Making it's something that has made me unfunctional for periods of time, but unfortunately, unlike me, it doesn't seem like medication's going to help alleviate that.
And it doesn't exist in this time, most likely.
Yeah, most likely. Interesting. Just as a side note, the Valerian root. I was curious, and I looked that up while you were reading. It's a root that mostly is used for a basically makes a quote unquote all natural sleeping pill. So
Huh.
although
The more you
there's
know.
people have made claims that it's supposed to help with things like anxiety, depression, and restlessness, menstrual disorders, and stress, but there's not much evidence for that. There does seem to be some evidence that it actually works as a sleeping pill, though. So,
Yep. Little lesson for everyone to part on. Thank you guys
Yes.
for joining us.
farewell.
Buenos días todos y bienvenidos a 4 Pixels. Estoy aquí, yo Coco, con mis amigos Guilleme y Ray.
Hola.
Ola, jeg er Kia Dane.
我叫李勇。
Poor Polly. First thing that comes out of his father's mouth is that.
No, how does he know that?
Oh my god.
He's probably outside his window every night.
But he says he hasn't seen him in 10 years.
Well,
Lie.
maybe he just has a little measuring thing of measuring equipment in his bed sheets to measure moisture.
That's even worse because he's specifically looking for that then.
Yes.